Hello and welcome to the Single Woman's Empowerment Podcast. My name is Christina and I'm the Single Woman's Coach. I'm a master empowerment coach, manifestation coach and NLP practitioner. I am obsessed with helping women fully accept themselves regardless of their relationship status and helping you achieve everything that you once thought was impossible. If you are looking to massively uplevel your life, your finances, your relationships, your productivity and even your success, then you are in the right place. My goal for this podcast is to help you radically accept yourself and to get out of your own way so that you can be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Think of this podcast as a weekly dose of empowerment to help you maximize who you are and where you're going. Leave it to me and the guest experts to provide you with tools, techniques, and an out hit of inspiration that you need to create the life you truly desire. I know we're going to have some fun together, my love, so thank you so much for being here. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Single Woman's Empowerment Podcast. I am seriously excited that you're here. I'm so excited that you're listening. I'm just excited, Before we get into the episode, let me just say thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. It means more to me than you can imagine. And I'm just really excited. I've wanted to start a podcast for a really long time. I knew I wanted to do something that was for women and was going to be empowering and exciting and interesting and fun with lots of really actionable stuff in it. And I just couldn't decide what, when, where, how, and whatever, and all the technical stuff. So I am so excited that we're off and we've launched and we're ready and we're out there and it's going to be brilliant. This podcast is very much for all women, but I do want to focus in on our single ladies because at the end of the day, we're the ones who are made to feel like we've failed some secret life test because we're not in a relationship. And maybe that failure comes from ourselves. Some of it is societal failures. Some of it's pressure from other people. And this podcast is not that. It's all about accepting who you are regardless of your relationship status. Knowing that you are enough, knowing that you are complete, knowing that you're loved. And that's what this podcast is all about. It's about radical self-acceptance. This podcast is all about your mindset, your self-love, owning who you are as a person, and becoming who you want to be as a person. So I'm excited that you're here. And before we even go further, I do want to say a special thank you to all the people who've been cheering me on, all the people who've been sharing my work, all of my beautiful clients. I love you so much. And to all the other women who are out there supporting women, because that's what we need right now. All right, that's enough of the sappy stuff. I'm sure you're ready to dive in because I know I am. So it's a new year, new me, new everything. We're all about these major changes in our lives and creating New Year's resolutions. And yeah, I kind of feel for a lot of people, New Year's resolutions are an absolute waste of time most of the time. And if you've been like me, I've created loads of resolutions over the years and I can tell you very few of them have ever stuck. But I've changed the way I use my resolutions and I've made them a bit more sticky. Before we get into making a New Year's resolution, I want you to think about all the resolutions that you've created in the past. What are they? Where did they come from? What was the purpose of them? How many have you made a success? I'm not trying to make you feel any type of way about them. I just want you to think about, where did these resolutions come from? Are they coming from a place of, I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough as I am, or I lack something, I'm scarce, or, a lot of the time our resolutions come from this place of ickiness, not very nice to ourselves, and they're absolutely laced with failure and guilt before we even get started. Quitting smoking often comes in with this, I'm feeling guilty for smoking, or wanting to eat healthier is often coming from a place of guilt because you've indulged over Christmas or indulged over the last year. And so we don't really have a good feeling about our resolution before we even get started. We're just like, oh, I probably should run more. I probably should eat more lettuce. I probably should open a book every once in a while. And so that's where our resolutions come from. And that's not fun. That not fun. That is like, ugh, like I wouldn't do it. So the way I do resolutions is just a little bit different, and that's I flip them around a couple of times and change them completely. So when I think about my resolutions, I think of them as a big picture of who I want to be by the end of the year. Like everybody does, like I want to be the healthiest version of myself. I want to be the most intellectual version of myself. I want to be the most spiritual version of myself. I want to be the sexiest version of myself. So I just look at my resolutions and go, well, what is it? What is that end result that I'm looking to get from this resolution? If I'm planning on running more and that's my resolution, I'm going to run more. What is it? Like, is it I want to be healthier? I want to be fitter? I want to be sexier? I want to be thinner? Like, what is that resolution? And then change it into an I am statement, an identity of who you want to be. I am a reader, I am a runner, I am a weightlifter, I'm a gym goer, I'm a yogi, I'm a meditator, I'm a water drinker. What is the I am statement that goes with the resolution that you're trying to make happen? Because when you change it to an identity, it becomes a little bit more real, it becomes a little bit more personal, it becomes a little bit more believable. You know, if you're just going to say, I want to read more, then the chances are you're not going to read more. You might buy all the books in the world, you might have a ton of books on your coffee table, and you might be like, right, I'm going to start reading this John Grisham book and it's going to be great. And you read the first chapter and then you're like, right, grand, I have not got the time to read now because Emily in Paris is on Netflix and I'm just going to watch that instead. Or the new season of Queer Eye is out and I'm all for it. Your I am statement is what stops you from getting distracted by other things, because you're buying into the end result of what you want to become. You're already claiming it. So I like to say, I am whatever that new habit is. So for me this year, I'm all about reading more. So my resolution is I'm going to read more. My goal is to read 20 books. And at the moment, I'm smashing through it. My I am statement is I am a reader. And now that I know what my I am is, I'm going to break it down into the habits that I need in order to make that happen. So now that you have an I am, think about all the things that that person would do. So if you are going to run more, you are a runner, what do you need to do in order to make that become a habit? What do you need to do in order to make that become a reality? You probably need to go running. You probably need to get some sort of run coaching, whether it's Couch to 5K. You probably need runners. That might be a good start. You might need some active wear. You know, think about all the things that you need to do in order to become a runner. And maybe you don't need to do any of those things just yet. Maybe you need to just go and see a physio and make sure your knees are okay and your back's okay before you even start running. Like, think about all the things that need to happen before you become a runner. Same goes for me. I'm going to be a reader. I need to think about all the things a reader does. A reader would read, they'd buy books, they would probably look at Amazon bestsellers or Kindle deals or whatever else. Look at all the things that support that new identity and start to do them on a daily basis or weekly basis, however frequent you want to do it. Think about the I am a meditator. A meditator meditates. They also have meditation apps. They also have a meditation space. They also have maybe incense that they burn when they're meditating or a candle that they like to light when they're meditating. They have other habits too. Maybe their other habits are visualization. Like, look at the little things that fall in with the I am that you want to be. A yogi goes to yoga. Maybe they do yoga with Adrienne on YouTube. Maybe they go to local yoga classes. Maybe they have alo moves and they do yoga at home. Look at what it is that goes with that I am. And then when you have your habits and you know what they are, so you're going to read, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to run, you're going to drink more water, you're going to meditate, you're going to do yoga, whatever it is, look at how you can pick the easiest of all of those habits and just do one of them. Just do one of them consistently for a month. And then you can stack in the other ones later. Like, put in the harder ones when you're a bit more comfortable with the easy habit. Don't go all in January and expect to completely change your world. Give it time. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't need to change overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success. So take time, build in the basics, and then add in more later. So for example, if you're a gym goer, Maybe the first habit that you start is going to the gym for 5 minutes twice a week. And that's enough. That is going to the gym. You are now a gym goer. Maybe that's not your first habit at all. Maybe your first habit is getting some hydration into you. So you start drinking an extra glass of water every day for a month. And then you start to go to the gym the following month. Pick the habit that's the easiest for you to do now, that goes with the identity that you want to have, and that you can track and see the success of it in the short term. Maybe your first habit is to meditate, and you're just going to meditate for 1 minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes for the first month, and then you can add in the other minutes later. And that's exactly how I started with my meditation habit. I was on and off with it for years, couldn't get a habit down, and then I changed it to an I am a meditator, and I only started meditating for 5 minutes every day until I was comfortable with that, and then I added in more minutes later. Now I'm on 25 minutes and I love it. I love meditating. Yeah, it can be a bit boring, but I'm there and I do it. It's part of who I am, regardless of what else is going on. And that's what you want to do. You want to get to the point that you are putting a tiny part of your habit now and building it up over time later. And you can add in more time, another habit, another step in the next month, and the month after that, and the month after that. You don't have to go guns blazing all in today. Take your time, break it down, pick one, make it easy, make it as easy as possible, make it as sexy as possible for yourself, and then add in simples, right? Once you have your habit and you know what you're going to do, I want you to find something that you do absolutely every day and tie that habit to it. Like, I know I'm going to wake up every morning, hopefully, and so after I've woken up, I am meditating. It's the first thing I do, and I know I'm going to do it. Before I even turn on the lights, I turn off my alarm, I put on my insight timer, and I meditate for my 25 minutes, and I go through my whole meditation process. Job done. I know every day I'm going to do it. Now that I have a new habit of reading, I read every morning for 20 minutes with my morning coffee. I always know I'm going to have a morning coffee. I always know I'm going to read. So pick something that you can tie your new habit to. Maybe it's when you finish work on a Monday, you put on your runners and you go to the gym. Maybe it's when you wake up in the morning, you drink your first 500 milliliters of water, or you go for your first run of the week, or whatever. Tie in your habit to something that you do every day and make it easy. Make it a routine. It's like routines stick for a reason. You know, when you have a good habit and you can anchor it into something that you do all the time, that is a routine and it's going to stick more. Now that you have a habit, you have it anchored in, it ties in with your new identity, it's feeding into your New Year's resolution. You want to track that bad boy and make sure that it's going to happen as often as you want it to happen. So some of my habits are daily, some of them are 4 days a week, some of them are weekly, like my sugar scrub is once a week. So I just track it once a week. And all you need to do is have a habit tracking sheet or journal or something where you can tick the box and know that it's done. I started doing this in a bullet journal a couple of years back, and it completely changed my success rate of habits. Knowing that I can fill in the square, whether I colour it in, put an X in it, tick it off, whatever you want, it's really satisfying. There's something really satisfying about like shading in a box and going, did that habit? And being able to look back on it at the end of the month and being like, look at that, that's a 30-day streak of meditating. Look at that, it's a 30-day streak of yoga. Look at that, it's a 30-day streak of drinking water, whatever it is. And it's just really satisfying. It's really satisfying. Makes me sound really nerdy, maybe a little bit sad, but it is really satisfying, trust me. If you don't have a habit tracker, feel free to join the Single Woman's Empowerment Club on Facebook, and there's a habit tracker in there for you, and you can just download it, print it off, and away you go, fill in your habits on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and you will see how the streaks play out. You'll just be like living your best life. The next thing, once you've got it tracked, is reward it. I love little rewards because they keep me motivated. Sometimes I have rewards and consequences, and that even keeps me more motivated. So I like to get a massage as a reward for doing all my habits at the end of the month. In order for me to make sure that I do all my habits, I book my massage in advance. and I have to cancel it if I don't do my habit. It's awful. Like, it's shit kind of cancelling your massage, but you have to have an extra bit of discipline in order to do that. If you're not that disciplined, just go with rewarding yourself at the end of the month with like whatever it is that will make you feel really good. Make sure your reward is in alignment with your new identity. So if your resolution is to lose 10 kilos or 10 pounds or whatever, I have no concept of weight, so don't mind me, but whatever it is, you're going to lose weight, and your identity is I'm going to be healthier, so you're going to go to the gym a little bit, then don't reward yourself with a triple chocolate cake every single month. That's probably not a reward that's in alignment with your resolution. Much is the same with if your habit is to meditate every single month, your reward is probably not going to be to kick the shit out of someone. So, because meditating and beating people up, they don't really go hand in hand. But maybe your reward is something like a sound bath, or a private meditation session with someone. Or maybe your reward is a restorative yoga workshop. Like, find a reward that goes in alignment with who you are and who you want to be. If you're trying to go to the gym and it's your first kind of hoo-ha at the gym, don't reward yourself with a massive bender where you get absolutely wasted on drink and then you can't go to the gym for 2 days, because that's just going to demotivate you completely. Pick a reward that supports the identity that you're trying to create, and then you'll see yourself transform. Like, it will happen for you. You'll just naturally kind of go, okay, I'm going to go get a massage, I'm going to get my nails done, I'm going to go get a spray tan, I am going to buy myself new activewear, I'm going to whatever, do a home facial. Pick a reward that goes with your identity. If you're trying to save for a house, your identity is I'm a saver or I am wealthy. Your habit is saving. Don't splurge on a pair of Gucci loafers, because that's not in alignment with your identity. Pick something that works for you and for who you're trying to be. And now that we have a reward for it, I'm going to talk about the other side of your habits, and that is the absolute boredom and monotony of them. There's going to be a point in your habit life where it gets a bit boring, where you're just going to be a bit over it. You're not going to want to do it this day or that day, or where you're kind of not really seeing the results because maybe it's long tail, like saving for a house. It's going to take time. Getting a six-pack, it's going to take time. Sometimes you put on more weight before you lose weight. Sometimes you can't stop thinking when you're meditating, and so it feels like you're wasting your time. So there is a level of boredom that kicks in, and you have to fall in love with the boredom. Honestly, it really is something that you're going to have to figure out for yourself. I know that I've thought about quitting different habits so many times over the years. Like right now, my gym program has gotten seriously boring. It's the same thing every week. It's very monotonous, but I still find a way to love it. Like, there's days when I go into the gym and I'm like, I do not want to be here. And then halfway through my second set of squats, I'm like, I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I'm doing this. I'm so glad I showed up for me today. You need to find that in your own self. If it's meditation, there's going to be times when you're like, I am too stressed to be meditating. I'm too tired. I'm too over it. I'm not interested. I don't want to be here. And you just have to find the love for the habit itself. You have to find the love for the boredom that the habit brings. And when you do that, that's when you'll start to really see the success. That's when the tracking and the rewarding plays its part, because you are supporting the identity that you want to have, regardless of the lack of motivation or the lack of interest. You're just saying, yeah, I'm going to show up anyways. I'm going to show up and shine. You know, there is this saying in yoga, you either show up and suck or you show up and shine. But either way, you got to show up. That is where we are here. You gotta show up regardless of how you feel on any fucking day. Just show up. And the more you show up for yourself, the more you're buying into the identity that you want to have. Think of every single time you do your habit as a 1% investment in your new identity. Every time you go to the gym, it's a 1% investment in being a gym goer. Every time you meditate, it's a 1% investment in being a meditator. Every time you read, it's a 1% investment in reading. If you do it 365 times in a year, that's a 365% investment in being this new person. That's a whopping change. That's a 3 times over change. Like, that's a really impressive transformation over a 1 year period. That resolution that you set at the beginning of the year is not just completed and brought to reality, it's absolutely owned. You have done it, you've queened it, you've shown that resolution who's boss, and that's where you want to get with this. You want to be getting to the point where it's autopilot, you're on it, you're doing it, it's easy, you are in love with the boredom of it, you are creating a little bit more of a challenge every single month, you're stacking in new habits, and you are becoming the person that you've decided you want to become, all because of one little resolution. Now that resolution is your reality. The next time you create a resolution, it's easier. It's so much easier. And that's kind of how you turn your resolutions into reality, my friend. Very, very simple, but also not that simple at all. I'm really excited to hear from you. I'm excited to hear what your new identity is going to be. What are the habits you're going to put into place, and how are you going to reward yourself? Let me know in the Single Women's Empowerment Club on Facebook, or you can DM me on Instagram at Christina Rose Coaching. But please let me know what your new habit is. Let me know what your new identity is. Let me know how you're going to reward yourself, because declaring it is owning it, and when you own it, it happens. I hope you have a beautiful day. I can't wait to see you again. If you're listening on Spotify, hit that follow button so you get notified of the next episode. And I will see you next week. Have a beautiful day, my love. All right. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely love what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming your way. Or if you know someone who would really love this episode, be sure to share it with them. If you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up the extra inspiration in the Single Women's Empowerment Club on Facebook, or you can follow me on Instagram at Christina Rose Coaching, or head to my website, ChristinaRoseCoaching.ie. Okay, I love you. Thank you so much for listening. Have an amazing day, and I can't wait to catch you in the next episode.